Coming up on District Wire News, hospital partnership. Sibley and Johns Hopkins hospitals are teaming up. Find out what this new deal means for the local DC hospital and area community. A full report straight ahead.
And election aftermath. President Obama's on a 10-day tour of Asia 1 week after Republicans take control of the House. What changes will he make post-election? District Wire News starts right now. Good evening. I'm Elizabeth Stevenson.
And I'm Megan Ackerman.
Move over WebMD. Residents in Northwest DC are getting better health care. Sibley Memorial Hospital is joining forces with Johns Hopkins Medical. Esther Song has more.
Sibley Hospital is now a part of the Johns Hopkins health system as of this month. This is the first foothold that the Baltimore-based health system has in the city.
I think it'll be a great idea. The new buildings and everything is because they're combining. They both, I'm not going to say financially, money-wise, but they're both good enough hospitals to open up better buildings for the patients.
Hopkins says that the merge is part of a bigger trend in hospital consolidation across the country since the new healthcare bill was approved in March. Healthcare is a competitive business and the union benefits both hospitals. Sibley needed more patients to keep up financially, and Hopkins wanted to compete in D.C.
I think, to be honest, Johns Hopkins wants to just get their name out in front and pick up a market here in Northwest D.C.
No money changed hands, but Sibley will have access to state-of-the-art resources, including those for cancer patients and women. For AU students, this could mean better specialized care.
If it adds more services, more specialists, more resources for our students, then I think it's a good thing.
I mean, Johns Hopkins does have a reputation, and Sibley doesn't quite have that. So combining the two, it definitely makes me feel more comfortable.
Hopkins has been ranked the #1 hospital in the country for 20 consecutive years. Esther Song, District Wire News.
AU's Kogod School of Business is hosting a memorial for Professor Sue Markham tomorrow evening. Professor Markham had a large impact on the AU community as the director of Kogod's Master in Accounting program and a faculty brother to Alpha Kappa Psi. The service will begin at 8 in Bender Arena and is open to the general public as well as AU faculty, staff, and students.
This morning, President Obama made a speech to India's parliament. He supported India in their push for Permanent Security Council membership. Right now, there are 5 parliament members on the Society Council. They include China, France, the UK. India will take part in Mr. Obama's trip. Is a diplomatic gesture that shows the importance of U.S. ties with the 1.2 billion Indian people. India and the U.S. are also discussing other deals that include jobs.
After the election results on Tuesday, Obama says he got the message that the country is not happy with the direction the country is going. CNN's Brian Todd has more.
Steer the president from a broader perspective.
The unemployment rate is still unacceptably high, and we've got a lot of work to do.
But there are still questions about whether President Obama has gotten the message from voters this week about the substance of his agenda. In an interview with CBS's 60 Minutes, he was asked about the feeling, even among his supporters, that he's lost his ability to lead.
We were so busy and so focused on getting a bunch of stuff done that we stopped paying attention to the fact that leadership isn't just legislation, that it's a matter of persuading people.
All right. He was prompted with a question of whether he sold his successes well enough and messaging, but he does say that it's a matter of persuasion, not necessarily hinting that it's a policy that might have gotten him in trouble here. And yet, here's our poll, the exit poll that says 52% say it is his policies that are hurting the country. Is he tone deaf?
I think in this instance, yeah. I mean, people aren't angry necessarily about the way that he's been selling this message. They're angry that for a year and a half he spent a lot of his political capital pursuing this health care reform instead of focusing exclusively on the economy.
Glenn Thrush, White House correspondent for Politico, does say the health care overhaul is too sweeping for the president to turn around on it now. And it's not as if he can go back on the stimulus plan. But analysts say the president and his aides have to realize voters have sent a clear message about policies, not persuasion. In front of the White House, I asked a former Bush aide how tough it is to get that perspective.
Is it just too easy to get insulated in that building from what people are really thinking about your policies?
When you're the president of the United States, you're the most powerful person on the planet Earth. When people meet you, they're awed. The presidency is designed to be that way. And so as a president, you have to make extra effort to be able to seek out people who disagree with you.
Analysts say the midterm results have presented that opportunity for the president. And for their part, Mr. Obama and others at the White House acknowledge that, saying that no one party can dictate where we go from here, and they're looking forward to working with congressional Republican leaders Mitch McConnell and John Boehner. Brian Todd, CNN, Washington.
Democrats lose control of the House and barely maintain control of the Senate. How will a divided Congress affect Obama's agenda and the nation? Megan Sweeney takes a look.
Midterm elections were held on November 2nd. Thousands of Americans cast their ballot at the voting polls, and given the political climate of the country, the results were not too shocking. Democrats lost 68 of their 257 seats in the House, giving Republicans control, but the Democrats managed to keep their control over the Senate, only losing 6 seats.
While many political scientists are not surprised Republicans took control of the House after the midterm elections, some are surprised that the Republicans did not make larger gains in the Senate.
I think they were surprising, but not that surprising. I predicted that the Republicans would gain 75 House seats and take control of the U.S. Senate. So I was wrong on both counts. So it wasn't quite the dramatic shift, but it was pretty impressive in terms of the number of seats, 60-plus seats that the Republicans picked up in the House, taking control of that chamber, and then about 6 seats in the Senate. So.
Republican control of the House means that Obama administration will have a greater difficulty in passing controversial bills, but some see this as beneficial.
It means that the two parties come together continuously. Well, we have a double system here with two-party system where, you know, the ideas are supposed to clash. We're not supposed to agree on everything right away. If we are agreeing on one right away, it's not a big deal. It's when everything comes down. We're a big country with diverse views and so forth. It's inevitable that we're going to have clashes, and philosophical clashes as well as economic clashes and regional clashes and party clashes. So it's part of our system. How they'll work it out is going to be up to them.
I think things are going to slow down quite a lot. I mean, we're not going to see the pursuit of Obama's agenda anywhere near like we saw in the first 2 years of his administration. Things are going to slow down. I think that's what the voters want.
It is still too early to tell what this means for the 2012 elections, but Americans can expect this divided House to fight over the current health care bill as well as the economy.
The Democrats believe they have done nothing wrong in the past 2 years, despite losing control of the House. The former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, is the new minority leader. Though she will not enjoy the same privileges and power that she has as majority leader, it will be interesting to see how a divided Congress will work to pass legislation and how it will affect the 2012 presidential elections. Now back to you, Elizabeth and Megan.
Thanks, Megan. Many AU students who voted last Tuesday faced challenges at the voting booth. Roughly 35 votes cast at the Metropolitan United Methodist Church were challenged by poll watchers, according to a volunteer for the Board of Elections and Ethics. Poll watchers at the location poll were looking to challenge AU student registrations. Many students tried to prove residency by showing information from the school web portal, but poll watchers wanted more items like bank statements to prove their residency. Other students say they voted without challenges.
Coming up after the break, MSNBC Countdown anchor Keith Olbermann is in hot water with his bosses, but it looks like he's getting out of trouble. We'll tell you what he did and how he's getting himself out of it.
And Hurricane Tomas swept through Haiti this weekend. The storm brought havoc to a country still struggling to recover from the earthquake earlier this year. We have an update later.